So we're back in Venice, Italy. We're in our favourite area, Cannaregio, not too far from Santa Lucia station. Many of the locals out on a Saturday morning, and so I thought it was ideal to talk about how to stay in Venice without peeing off the locals. So the first one is, don't picnic by the monuments, don't picnic on the stairs, or like here, little entryways to the water. Basically it's also illegal and you'll get fined. The biggest fine I heard of was a couple of German guys and making coffee on the Rialto Bridge, and they had their own portable stove. You know, I think it's quite funny, but actually, do you know what? I can see why they say no eating, and you just block up the stairs. Those people up there are sitting on the bridge, get fined for that too. In theory, there is a law which says you shouldn't stand on a bridge. You shouldn't do anything but walk across a bridge. Seems harsh, doesn't it? Oh, look at this view, fantastic. Yeah, so anyway, you can be in for between 100 and 200 euro fine if you do. Generally, I think it's only going to be enforced in the busy areas, isn't it, really? So, that was the first one. What's the second one? So this is more of an unwritten one. And that is, don't walk on the left. I'm talking to you, Brits particularly. So here in Italy, everyone drives on the right. You'll probably notice most of the time, you're going through alleyways, going through bustling streets, people are going to walk on the right hand side. So do the same, and you just won't get tutted upon, and also you'll move quicker. Again, did I say, look at this view. Again, this is the Cannaregio area, and we recently discovered it, and we've been spending our time here. This is the second time we've been to Venice this year, by the way. I know, poor us. Number 3, littering. Littering can carry a 350 euro fine. But also, as you walk around, I haven't seen any litter at all. Not one bit. And I think when you live somewhere like this, I think you're less inclined to just throw your McDonald's wrappers on the floor. Next one. So we're walking past the canal. Don't see anybody swimming in it. And that because, well, 2 reasons. One, it's illegal. Yes, it's illegal again. 350 euros at minimum. But also, you wouldn't want to. So most of the wastewater here, all your toilet stuff, that most of it gets dealt with normally through the usual sanitation system. But there's a lot of water that just gets flushed into the lagoon. And luckily, the lagoon is tidal, so it gets emptied out twice a day. Because if it didn't, it would stink. So you certainly don't want to be swimming in it. Also, if you saw our summertime videos, the Summertime was a 1955 film with Catherine Hepburn. She had to fall in the water several times as part of the film. She didn't really want to. And she got lifelong conjunctivitis from that. That's right, never got rid of it. So that was just been falling into the water a couple of times. So yeah, you don't want to do that. This is especially nice today, by the way, because the last couple of days have been raining, and so the forecast wasn't this good. So the walking gods are in our favour. Now another thing, so this is unwritten, and that is, it can feel like a one big tourist attraction. It can feel like one big museum. So everything's so old. But the important thing is, it's a living, breathing city. People live here, people work here. And so the ideal thing is don't treat it as if it's your own open-air museum. We've got friends in Hallstatt, which is probably the most beautiful city in Austria. Well, we think so, but then we haven't seen much of Austria. And the problem they have quite a lot is, particularly with Asian tourists, and I'll tell you why for a moment, but quite often they'll come out into the garden and they'll find people sitting on their garden benches having picnics, or occasionally they've had someone come in the back door to use the bathroom. And of course they've not realised that Hallstatt is not just a theme park. And this might be because, particularly in China, I believe there is a recreation of Hallstatt, of course, which is like an open-air theme park. And so when people come to the real thing, they mistake it for a theme park, and lo and behold, they use it as such. So don't do the same thing here. I'm sure you wouldn't do that. I'm sure all of our watchers are the best sort of tourists. So next thing, again, it's more an unwritten rule, and that's the Vaporetti boats. Okay, so these are effectively the buses that you'll use. And they're great, they go everywhere. See one of our previous videos about just how to save a bit of money on those. Now the thing with these, again, local people are going to work on them. And so just be reminded that when you get on them, it's great to take photos from them, but if you all stand by the bit where you get on and off, you're just going to get in the way of people. And you can imagine what it's like, can't you, really, if you're at home, you're trying to get on the number 8 bus, trying to get to work, and there's like a tour group, and they're all standing around the driver, taking photographs of him, and you're trying to get on, because you need to get to work. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, isn't it, really? Let's have a look down some side canals. Glorious Venice. Hello, once more. So next one I'm going to look at is, and again, this is not a rule. In fact, this is not a law, but it's a way in which you might enjoy the city a bit more. Don't be a day tripper. So this year is the first year that they've introduced a €5 day tripper tax, and that was just in the summer season, given it a test. I think, to be honest, it's probably going to be extended. I think the idea around that is basically that people swarm in off the boats. Everyone does the same thing. They go to the same sites. They clog up all the same bridges, all the same monuments. They go to the same cafes. Just spend £5 on a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and all head back. And so I think the city wants to really encourage longer staying visitors here. So there is still a tourist tax if you stay here for a few nights. I mean, that's what we're paying. But you only pay that, I think, for the first 5 nights. And also, there's just so much to see. I mean, this is probably our 5th, 6th time to Venice. We've not really scratched the surface. So, do yourself a favour. If you're coming on a cruise, book a couple of nights at the beginning or a couple of nights at the end, okay? Because you're probably not going to have enough time to see it. A little 2-hour tour is going to do nothing. So anyway, number 8, it's an unwritten rule, but also it'll get you kicked out of churches and so on. It's like so many countries that are religious. You go into churches, go in particular areas, dress as you expect to dress. So long trousers, skimpy tops. So just generally being respectful. thing to do is also, as you're wandering around town, don't wear a bathing costume, don't go bare-chested like male or female. That can fine you 250 euros. Okay, so, and I'm sure you wouldn't anyway, but you know, one or two of you might think, well, it's a lovely day, I want to show off my lovely tattoos. You get fined. So next one, so we're coming up to a bridge here. There was this fad, you may remember it well, of putting a padlock on a bridge to demonstrate your undying love for your loved one. Now, you might enjoy that, and you can take a few photos of it to remember it by, but then you disappear and you never have to see it again. But the people that live here, people that know that this bridge is hundreds of years old and has got great history, have to see your €5 lock on there with thousands of others every day, and eventually someone has to saw them off, which is a bit of a pain. So basically, don't do it. There is a fine, I think it's about €100. It used to be, when there was a real crackdown on it, it was €3,000. So don't do it. Now, next one we're going to talk about is pigeons and seagulls. Right? Don't feed them. They're all around, and you might think, St Mark's Square, go like Trafalgar Square. I'll feed them some crisps, or some nuts, or some dried old bread. Don't do it. One, it's not good for them, but two, big fines. And it's anywhere between €25 and €500, okay? Apart from anything else, one, they're pests, but two, it's their crap, basically, their poo, very acidic. This city has enough problems with erosion as it is. The acid in their poo affects mosaics, affects some of the stonework. So yeah, don't do it. I'm going to have a little mooch around in here because there's a lovely art exhibition in here. Just before we do, give you the last one, or last couple. So first of all, camping and bivouacking. I think you can guess really there's not many campgrounds here. Again, don't do it, don't like it. €200 fine. Another one, you probably won't get an option, but riding a bike. So you can get fined for riding a bike, you can get fined for just pushing a bike. Okay, it's about €100. If you're a local, you've got a license, then you can ride a bike, or if you're 8-year-old or under, look at that dog over there. Hello, mate. He knows where he's going. Yep. €100 fine. Now it might sound like there's fines for everything. It sounds like a bit of a downer. Oh, that's why people aren't going in, because there's a huge big flood. Okay, we're not going down there. Let's go around the side. But it's not. So what I'd suggest to you is you can make your way here. As I've said in videos before, it is absolutely stunning. Okay, Venice, no matter how many times you've seen it, it's a slap in the face. You really do want to come here. You do want to experience it in all different weathers. And again, this is our second time in a year. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with the canal, with the boats of Venice, Italy. Take care. See you in the next one.